What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is May 8th of 2019. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And today I want to keep the daily update quite short, sweet, and to the point, and really cover the news that happened with Binance. And also, towards the end, once I've provided all the major information, really provide my thoughts on what happened and what Binance and others can do to, try to block something like this from happening in the future. So let's go ahead and dive right into this. So Binance had about a $42 million hack at the time of the actual breach. Basically, it was about 7,000 Bitcoin that were stolen from the hot wallet. Now, to put some clarification for all of you out there just right away, and to explain something that I still think a lot of people don't understand when it comes to security of crypto funds, the good news about this is that this was a hot wallet. And there's a difference between a hot wallet and a cold wallet. So if you ever have, for example, to put it in pretty simple terms, if you had like a Ledger or a Ledger Nano or for a Trezor or some kind of hardware wallet, those are what's known as cold wallets in this case. It's cold storage. And it's very, very, very difficult to break through cold storage. There are some ways if you are in physical contact with cold storage, as some people have started to discover. But Binance uses cold storage, much like any decent exchange, to store the vast majority of its custodial funds, in this case, basically for its customers. And the 2% that was resting in hot wallets, which is basically the amount that you'll basically withdraw in this case, or what was recently deposited into the exchange, was basically hacked by a variety of different tactics. And they mentioned here a variety of techniques such as phishing, viruses, and other things from a variety of registered accounts on the Binance exchange. So this is the same thing as Coinbase as well. Coinbase, for example, could have a hack on maybe 1 to 2% of its funds that aren't kept on cold storage. I think they have the official number online somewhere, but it's around that ballpark. The way that they do this is they keep 1 to 2% in a hot wallet, which is a little less secure, but it's ready to be withdrawn quite instantly. And the reason they do that is because they want convenience, but also security for the vast majority of funds. Now, here's some other good news as well, is that the Seifu fund, in this case, is going to be actually covering the losses in this case. Now, Binance made a ton of money. And by putting 10% of the collected fees aside, basically what they're making as profit in the market or what it's generated as revenue, they're actually putting that into the Seifu fund. They've been doing it for a while, and they're actually going to extract funds from that to cover the losses in Bitcoin. What's nice about this is that it's one currency in this case that was really stolen, at least that's what they're claiming, which is 7,000 Bitcoin. And so long as they have 7,000 Bitcoin in that fund, which was meant to cover losses like this or exchange hacks, they can actually do a direct cover of this. Now, in regards to actually recovering the funds, it seems like Binance is going to have quite a difficult time doing that. CZ had actually gone out, for example, on Twitter and a few different sources claiming that he wanted to roll back the Bitcoin blockchain. Again, guys, I've been in that scenario where something bad happens. I've had my accounts hacked before on Twitter and a few things, and I understand you can kind of say things, you can say and do things you probably wouldn't expect, but man, I definitely don't see us rolling back the Bitcoin blockchain, and I think CZ clarified later on Twitter that that's very unlikely to happen, that they have actually pulled back from the reorganization of the kind of revisit of the older transactions, basically reversing in that case, similar to what Ethereum did back during the basically one of the largest hacks in this case for the DAO hack in that case. All right, so I'm rambling at this point. So we've gotten to the major substance of this. Now, here's the one set of bad news that I want to emphasize with you guys, which they mentioned at the beginning, which is the fact that API keys, two-factor authentication codes, and potentially other information might have been hacked. And this could lead into stuff like KYC data, transaction history, stuff like that is very vulnerable personal information. And I hope that Binance didn't let up to that. Now, right now, we haven't seen any sign of that, right? I think a lot of people are worried about this, but at the moment, I'm not too worried because it seems like the only thing that was really breached here, when they mention, for example, phishing and a variety of other attacks, like such as viruses, this to me sounds like something that went wrong on the withdrawal stage, because that's what they care about. The only thing that hackers can really get access to is by human error and stuff like hot wallets that humans are managing in this case, where basically maybe I'm a Binance employee, for example, and you come in and say, hi, I'm John Doe and I want to withdraw 1,000 Bitcoin that are mine. And you have to go through a variety of different mechanisms through the security levels that we have at Binance in order to breach through that, right? So I'm not a Binance employee, but just letting you all know that's what it would be like. I'm assuming it's something along those lines. And luckily, I think we'll get more clarification of this as time goes on. But it's nice that Binance has done this. Now, here's some of the things that I want to mention. Not only can you look at the transaction here and look at that, the basic, all these transactions did it for the low cost of $70. You're not going to get that in the financial sector. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. But lo and behold, guys, there's some good and bad to this. Good news is Bitcoin's resilient. Just because $40 million of the Bitcoin is hacked, it doesn't make Bitcoin as a network less valuable. In fact, the immutability of this, I know this is kind of like it's like a blessing in disguise in a sense. With a hack like this, it actually proves to Bitcoin in this case that, hey, look, it's an immutable network. You're not going to restructure that. You're not going to take back the chain back to where it was beforehand. Those transactions are confirmed. Now, we can go about trying to find who it was, getting those funds back, similar to what we did with Mt. Gox. That would be really cool. I really hope that happens. That being realized, though, it's a beauty of Bitcoin in that case, and a blessing in disguise that this is an immutable network that you can't reverse. You can't have some big overarching fist and demand that something happens. And even if someone else has those Bitcoin are still there. They're still spendable. They're still able to be used. Those criminals are probably just going to have to find a way to, basically cash out in some way, shape, or form if they really care about that. Or maybe they'll just keep it in Bitcoin and wait for the Bitcoin economy. Now, let's talk about some of the bad news. The bad news here that I wanted to mention, sorry, I hit my mic there, is BNB in this case. For those who are long BNB, I really got to tell you guys, I like buying dips as much as the next guy, and especially, near 20% corrections from highs. But I got to tell you, this looks like it's finally topping out at the same range of where we saw back over here in USD. And I really wouldn't touch BNB until it got down here, at least to this range, and set, like a higher low. Yeah, technically you could say this is a higher low, but I'm not buying this with two factors in mind. A, probably growing fears until we get full resolution that all customer data is safe, things of that sort, and that more funds as well are safe. But outside of that, the thing that I'm concerned about is the lack of deposits and withdrawals. I really feel that's going to be a damper for increasing liquidity, and that's going to lead to a lot of these altcoins, specifically BNB in this case, towards going to the upside, but also for general use of the exchange as well. So that's just my personal opinion. Again, not saying, Binance, it seems like they're doing a very nice job. I've been critical of Binance and other exchanges before, guys. I think we have to hold them to a higher standard if they're going to be owning our money, not to mention with the immense amount of pressure that CZ has put across to kind of become a figure in the space, and with the power that Binance has, they have a lot of responsibility. But it at least seems like they've been taking the right steps. They did it well ahead of time with the Seifu fund. Haven't seen much exchanges commit to something like that. Going through this process as well of locking up everything and making sure that this doesn't happen again. Give them some props for that. I've criticized, again, lots of exchanges before. Binance is, just like other exchanges, it's not completely clean. It's a lot of people working at one company, controlling different strings. But I do admire them for their work. And as always, to put it in a summary, guys, the mainstream media will always find a way, even the crypto media. Oh, this feels... they're playing off the FUD. No, but everyone's jumping the gun on this news, guys. And I hope that from this video, you don't see me getting too over emotional or saying, oh my God, this is the end of crypto and the end of Binance, because it's really not. We just had, what was it, an $830, $40, $50 million loss with Bitfinex, with the Tether backing it. The cool thing about it, guys, above everything, is that over the past few days, the past few weeks, every single time there's something that comes in as a negative news story to crypto, it's not holding back Bitcoin. That's the beauty of this, because Bitcoin isn't broken. It's simply the time-tested errors of humans that lead to this. So if you're a smart human, if you know how to manage your crypto, and you can manage your own keys, you can have your own freedom. And it's been that way for over a decade on Bitcoin. time and time again, it's going to prove itself. We're going to have to learn these lessons multiple times, but hopefully not too many people get hurt in the process and we can learn sooner rather than later. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'd love to know what you all think down in the comments down below. What do you make of this? Do you think this is more and more of a reason to be managing your own keys and take the time to learn to actually owning your own crypto? Many of you probably already own your own crypto out there. Would love to know down in the comments down below. But until the next video, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Stay tuned.